All right. I wanted to talk you through some of the common questions that I'm getting this semester in regards to setting up your WordPress blog and then also creating your first reverse engineer post. Let's start with the WordPress blog. The video created by Brother Libert and the instructions there are just exactly what you need to get going in the process of setting up your blog and creating your first post. With that said, WordPress often changes just a few things, and I'm still getting some questions about the fact that you're going to have to pay for a hosting plan. And that's not the case, but because WordPress is a for-profit organization, they want to be able to make money, and so that's why you're going to see all the money or paid options up front. And what I want you to be able to use is the free option, because that's all you need to get a good grade in this course. So you'll set up your blog following the instructions in the video. If you get stumped, there will be a screen like this one that you come up to. So up here at the top, you can see I've named my site Comms 130 Site, and then it gives me two options that are obviously paid. I don't want that option. I want the free option. And of course, they've hidden it a little bit because they want me to take a paid option. Instead, you can see right here in the orange box, comms130site.wordpress.com. So your name would be right here where my Comms 130 is. And then you can see it's the free option and you'll hit select, okay? That will take you to the next screen where again you see all these paid options. So you're probably thinking, oh my goodness, I didn't hit the right thing. That's not the case. You could pay for one of these if you wanted, but it's not required for the course. So instead, you want to look for this button that's in the orange box that says not sure yet, start with the free site. You'll click this button and you should come after a little bit to this screen, okay? In this screen, you're going to see this My Home and then the site setup list with a whole bunch of different options, okay? It might look like that with all the carrots closed up. Each one of these is a drop-down menu and is required to setting up your site fully. Now, Brother Libert in those videos takes you through what you need to accomplish to get your site launched and get ready to write your blog post. But I want to make sure that you remember one thing, and that is you do have to launch your site. Just because you followed the video, you created a blog post, you published it, and you supposedly think you launched your site, you might not if you didn't hit this button, okay? You can go through each one of these, and as you click the carrots, it will give you kind of an estimated time. But the most important one I want you to pay attention to is this launch your site right here. If you click the carrot, you can see that it is not, it should be pink, but it's not. And it tells me why. It wants me to confirm my email address first. So I'll close this carrot up, go up to the confirm your email address option, and you'll then go ahead and resend the email and take care of that option. Then you'll go back to the launch your site, and this button should be pink. And at the point you hit that and it loads you to a new screen, then you know for sure that your site is launched, okay? I'm going to close this out and I'm going to show you one other location that kind of will help you cover some things. So this is my Comms 130 test site, okay? This is my first reverse engineer post, all right? And what I want you to see is in this post is that there's a couple of things that are listed in the project requirements that you need to make sure you have so that you can get all the points, all right? The first one is you're going to need kind of a more exciting title than what's a reverse engineer post. So you need to be creative in your title, and that's included in the project requirements. So make sure that you have those project requirements open so that you know what it is you need to accomplish. But categories and tags are two things right here that need to show up somewhere in your post, okay? I will show you in just a second how to create those categories and tags, but this is a great post to read. I've just kind of written it up that talks about headings and why they're important, how you would add a heading into your blog post, and then also where the flyout menus. I have some drawovers here that you can see. I've taken a screenshot and gone ahead and created a drawover and then put it into my post, and then I talk about it in my text, okay? So I go through and explain how to create a drawover. I also give you a few tips. And then I tell you a little bit more about categories and tags. If you're not familiar with SEO or search engine optimization, then understanding categories and tags might be a little bit confusing, but they need to be in your post to get full credit. So I'll explain to you how categories and tags work, and then you'll be able to figure out how to get published. And there's another tip about taking off the uncategorized option, okay? I'm going to take you back to the back end of that same site. So this is the article we were just reading, this What's a Reverse Engineer Post. I want to take you, this is what you'll see on the back side. So I want to take you to where you might go if you find something in your post that you need to fix before you submit, okay? You'll want to make sure right here that you are on your site, okay? If you have more than one site, then this is really important. The next thing is that if you want to edit something on your site, write a post or add a page or something of that sort, then you'll want to find this pencil where it says site and then click the down arrow. At this point, I'll go to posts, and that brings me to this screen. I can see that I have 3 published posts and 2 drafts, and then this is the one that I want to change. What's a reverse engineer post? When you come back and write your next reverse engineer post, you'll do the same thing. Make sure you're in your back end for your site. Then you'll go to site and then go to posts, and then you'll add a new post. Or you can hit this right button up here in the top right corner to create a new post. But right now I just want to edit something in my reverse engineer post that I'm getting ready to submit. So I'll click on this reverse engineer post, and it will take a minute to load because the internet always does that when I'm recording videos. And I want to show you where to add the categories and tags. Now, you've probably read this post and followed along with how to create your headings and everything else. So on the right hand side, this is just kind of like Word, like Microsoft Word is the same idea. So this is what your screen would look like. It's just like writing a paper in Microsoft Word. Right over here on the right hand corner, it says block and it's highlighted. That's because we're in the block editor, which means we add pictures and text blocks and different things. For publishing, we want to make sure that we go to document. And before we publish, we want to go to the categories and to the tags, okay? Uncategorized for some reason is usually checked. You want to make sure to uncheck that and then add your categories here. And then on your tags, you'll go ahead and type them in here, okay? Then at that point, you'll be ready to publish and you'll be able to hit the publish button. Because I've already published, then I don't have to worry about that. The last thing that I want to cover with you really, really quickly is this. I've had one additional question about how you create drawovers. You can create them in Photoshop. You can come up with another way to do them, maybe by taking your image of your ad into a Word document. Or if you have some preview options on computers, have the ability to do some drawovers. So that's up to you. There are a couple of videos that will help with Photoshop. But here's what you'll need to do. You'll need to go out onto the internet and search on Google for an ad. It can be for anything you want, as long as it's BYU Idaho appropriate. And you need something that you might just type into the search browser. If I was interested in IKEA, I might type in IKEA ads. Then when one comes up, I'm going to need to either download by right-clicking and hitting save a copy or save to download for the ad, for that image. Or I'm going to need to take a screenshot, okay? Then you'll need to follow the directions to make sure that you give me one unaltered image of that ad at the beginning of your post, and then some additional drawovers that draw out the different design principles that you're supposed to be talking about in the post, okay? To do those drawovers, go ahead and watch the videos that I included in the questions and conversations for week 2. That will help with how to get the drawover elements onto your image. The only thing that you'll need to do at that point would be to upload the image first into Photoshop. If you use a Mac computer, and some PCs I know have this capability, you could drag and drop the files that you saved of your ad or the screenshot that you took of your ad into Photoshop, or you can simply highlight whatever the file name is and right-click. You should be able to right-click and then have it open up in Photoshop. And then at that point, you can go ahead and use the tutorial videos to help you place your drawover elements. I want to remind you one last thing. I know it feels a little bit backwards because you're a student and I'm the professor, but when you write these blog posts, pretend that you're the expert or the teacher and that I'm the student. Keep things really simple. I'm brand new at this, right? Because I'm a newbie graphic designer. So I want you to pretend that I'm brand new, that I don't know anything about the 4 design principles. And I want you to go ahead and think about how to clearly communicate to me all the information I would need to know that you have just learned in the last week or so about your ad. So when you tell me about contrast, then explain to me what contrast is, then create drawovers that will point out the areas where you see contrast, and then include a paragraph that tells me what those drawovers mean. So if you have white writing on a red background, then you might circle the part of the red background and part of the white writing, and you'll say, the white writing contrasts really well against the red background, so it pops and draws the reader's eye to the type. And this is using contrast to create that connection, okay? So that's the type of stuff that I'm looking for. I know it feels really simplistic and kind of weird to explain that to your professor, but for the sake of this project, treat me as if I'm the newbie, and I promise you'll get the best grade you can, okay? I'm looking forward to all of the great stuff that you guys are creating, and I cannot wait to learn with you for the rest of the semester.